listening to the Freeform Rock Podcast with Mark Alden Taylor.
Welcome to the Freeform Rock Podcast. With me always is my partner in crime, Mr. Gershman Lee. Lee Gershman? Yeah, that's it.
Oh, Mr. Gershman, the syrup is on my shoe. No, sorry, that's wrong. How are you doing, Mark?
I'm doing great, and I just wanted to bring up what we talked about off the air and somewhat on the air, but they didn't get recorded.
About that.
Open up and say, album battle with Aerosmith's Draw the Line.
Shit. Yeah, okay, since you brought that poop up, it was one of those things that I saw tons of people agreeing with me. I was like, yeah, Aerosmith is a lot better. And all of a sudden, I see you voted for Poison. I was like, oh my God, I have to do a podcast with this guy. I'm embarrassed now. Why is he the one? Ew.
Well, I was just being honest with myself because...
but you weren't being honest with us. You agree that Aerosmith is better. You're just telling yourself the wrong thing.
Well, I like that Poison album better than Draw the Line, but I like the song Draw the Line better than anything that's on that Poison album. There.
Oh. I thought that when you say that, you mean you like the album Draw the Line better, even though you like the Poison album better?
Yes, I like the Poison album better than Draw the Line, but I like the song Draw the Line better than any song on the Poison album. But as a whole, the Poison album I listen to more.
So even though you like the Poison album better than Draw the Line album, you do like Draw the Line album better than the Poison?
No, I don't like the Draw the Line. Stop trying to confuse me. Stop trying to Bugs Bunny me.
Okay, I'm just
rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, duck season, whatever.
Okay.
I saw your little trick there.
It's okay.
I'm not drunk yet.
That's why I'm... that's not why I'm angry. I'd be angry anyway, but it helps.
Use your anger. Use the force, Lee. Use the force.
I use my hand.
I bet you do.
Telling you where.
Well, if you want to hear a great podcast, check out the Rock and Combat Metal podcast, where Lee did a review of Poison's Look What the Cat Dragged In. And
I remember that.
Yeah, you were drunk, but that was freaking hilarity at its finest.
Was it? I don't remember.
Yeah, Lee, you were funny, and Ralph was going, "Take it outside," and you were like, I
talked more, and they wouldn't let me because they're more normal than me.
Well, that's not saying much, man.
Saying much.
All right. Well, today let's digress here. Let's get into the album that we're gonna. First, I'll tell you the album, then we're gonna do our newer bands of the week. We're doing Maximum Security by Tony MacAlpine. It's our first instrumental record that we're doing. It's a first for us, Lee.
Cool. Yep. I like that.
Yep. Lee picked this album all by his little self.
Yeah, I was feeling little. Companion was pretty.
Was the sky falling? The sky is falling. No.
Yeah.
Whoa. Lee, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess you're holding your burps in.
I'm burping. Was I burping? I said yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the newer bands of the week. We have Piercing Immortality, No Remembrance, and Left Lane Cruiser that Lee picked, Claw Machine Wizard, on the Freeform Rock podcast. And when you check the show notes, I will put links up for these bands, their websites, and their Amazon link to buy their albums and support new music. So here we go. Piercing Immortality, No Remembrance, Left Lane Cruiser, Claw Machine Wizard on the Freeform Rock podcast. Okay, that was our newer bands of the week. Piercing Immortality, No Remembrance, Left Lane Cruiser, Claw Machine Wizard. So, Lee, why did you pick this record?
I wanted you to do a good album, and I wanted to stop talking about the group Poison. No, I'm kidding. Actually, this is a great guitarist, and I figured, even though it's instrumental, it's still an awesome album, and that people should listen to it. A lot of people, they say, I don't like music without words. It's like, well, why? I mean, does that mean that you can't hear music unless there's words? It's like, music's good music, and this is just a really hot album, and I figured that it's a heavy album, and a lot of people like to hear reviews of heavy albums, so I figured this one would be a good one to do.
Yeah, and this was his second album, and it got really good critical reviews. And I was reading that this album is only released to enter the U.S. Billboard Top 200, reaching 146 and remaining on the charts for 11 weeks. And this is from 1987. Oh my God, this did not sound like from 1987. It was ahead of its time. It kind of sounded like Dream Theater-ish, Joe Satriani-ish. It's pretty cool, man. So let's get into this record. But the first track is one of the 3 tracks you picked. So here's Autumn Lords by Tony MacAlpine on the Freeform Rock Podcast. That was Autumn Lords by Tony MacAlpine. Why did you pick that track, Lee?
Oh, well, this sounds like it could have been a great theme song for a superhero television series called Autumn Lords. The melodic structure seems influenced by Chopin, but it's also a blistering performance, which is heavy, but also accessible and progressive. It's simply great.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is like, where's this guy been all my life? I've heard about him, but I've never listened to him. I heard he had a cancer scare that he got through with the fans helping him pay his medical bills. He had him and his wife, but I guess both got cancer at the same time.
Man.
So it's pretty outrageous for a working musician not to be working, you know.
Yeah.
So this song is really good, jams, kicks ass, hard and heavy, and fuck, I never heard of him. What the fuck? I never heard his music. I was like pissed off. Thank you, Lee, for pissing me off, giving me a good album.
Well, okay, I will do you the favor of listening to a Poison album as a way of saying thank you for the thank you. Please don't remind me to actually do it, though.
Take it outside. No, I'm sorry, Ralph, I'm not taking your stick. I'm promoting your podcast, so they go listen to that one because it's hilarious.
Stick. You're taking something else. Oop, sorry.
Oops. I don't take nothing. I'm a giver, man. I give.
Hey,
I give till I'm gived out.
Stick at the door before it enters.
All right, well, let's get into the second track, which is Hundreds of Thousands. What do you think of this one?
Well, this is like if Yngwie Malmsteen could write a good melody behind the soloing. This is one to listen to when you're driving fast down the freeway and the music's cranked up. It's hot.
Yeah, I put so heavy and melodic. Love it. It's great music. Wow. You're just blowing my mind with this album, Lee. I want to go buy it. I want to buy this one and maybe get some other albums he's done because this is really good. But I heard the debut album wasn't as good. So
I haven't heard that one, though.
Okay, and then we get into the next track, Tears of Sahara. What do you think of this one?
Whitesnake should have written a song this good. Just have some great lyrics to this, and it could have been a great hit. I'm not complaining, though, because it works well as an instrumental. I like it.
Yeah, this is great album, man. This is a great song. The drums are so clear on this. The production is awesome. If you guys like to hear great guitar playing and great production, check out this album, man. Go buy it, man. This guy is really good, man. And then Go ahead, Lee.
On album, on headphones, loud.
Yeah, I listened to this on headphones, and it was loud, and I was like hearing shit, and I go, man, this is great production. It's really clear.
Yeah, really good.
And then we get to the next track, which you picked, Key to the City. So here's Key to the City by Tony MacAlpine on the Freeform Rock Podcast. That was Key to the City by Tony MacAlpine. Why'd you pick this track?
This is like a combination of Yngwie Malmsteen, Rush, and Bon Jovi. But the Bon Jovi stuff I like. I'm glad Tony MacAlpine never worked with Desmond Child because he writes great songs on his own. This is a great blend of heavy and progressive. It's a great song.
Yeah, it's a great song, man. I loved it. I love the keyboard intro with the pounding drums and freaking melodic as hell with his guitar. It's like, fuck. This is so... I would like to hear him and Joe Satriani play together, which they have in concert. But I would love to hear these two go at it, you know, and even put some Eddie Van Halen with them, man. This is like a shred fest.
Oh,
so good, man. And then we get into the next track, 5, The Time and the Test. What do you think of this one?
the melody reminds me of Rush in some ways, but the playing is more like Marvel Comics, but I mean that as a compliment. It's fast and heavy, but people who don't like heavy metal could enjoy it too. It's a great blend of heavy and accessible. It's right on.
I said the beginning kind of sounds like Ozzy Mr. Crowley a little bit with the keyboard organ.
Oh yeah,
It's really cool, and it's heavy, and I've never reviewed an instrumental album, and it's kind of hard not to say lyrics and stuff, and I'm not a guitarist, so I can't say what he played and what strings he was using or what chords he was playing, you know.
And he played it by strumming or picking.
I have no idea. I'm not a musician like you guys, man.
I mean, he puts his hand on the guitar and plays.
Oh,
That's all.
I didn't know that. People do that?
Oh,
shit.
you mean you don't know how to drink water? They put their mouth on the cup, and they say, no, I put my mouth somewhere else.
I thought I used a straw, but they got banned.
Oh. Oh. Oh, okay,
Hey,
no.
man, we could make some money in Santa Barbara by selling straws to people, man. You need a straw? We got your straw for you, man.
I play guitar, but if you hear my guitar playing, you can argue that I don't know how to play guitar.
How are those rich people going to do their lines of meth and coke now up in Santa Barbara since they're getting rid of straws?
Oh, really?
I'm just wondering, man. Poor rich people.
We could sell them the straws.
I know. We could sell it more than the coke, man, because they'll need that.
Yeah.
All right, this is what I said. I already said it was heavy, loud, fast song. You just get in your car and drive, man. This thing is fucking awesome. Great track. And then we get to the next track, which is The King's Cup. What'd you think of this one?
Everything I said about the last song can be said about this one. Except this has a little bit more of a classical feel to it, like maybe Johann Sebastian Bach. But he makes Bach sound cool. It's a good song.
Yeah, this is a great song. Freaking kick-ass track. The guitar harmonies are so good and are awesome. I love this song, man. Thank you, Lee, for bringing me this album again. You know, I'm not worthy, man. I'm full of shit. You know, because I like that Poison album so much. You know.
Actually, I'm starting to feel a little more drunk. I'm starting to feel that Poison album is actually the better album. I'm holy, and I was born on Mars.
They were talking about doing another Poison album because the first album was like comedy to them. They need to have you on Open Up and Say if they ever do that album. Seriously.
If they are going to belittle themselves by doing such an embarrassing thing like do another Poison album, it's not much worse for them to let me on again. Okay.
Dude, you're class. That episode was the best one you did with him. Seriously.
I don't agree.
You don't agree. All right.
I like the Judas Priest one because I think, there was one I did when I did a song and Ian kept trying to say, okay, thank you, Lee. Thank you, Lee. Thank you. And I I have a tendency when I do a song, I don't stop till I'm done, and I don't let people stop me. So I did that.
You're like Queen. Don't stop me now. I'm playing such a good song, so leave me alone.
Yeah, and they were like, "Well, then do the good song." But you know, there was one where people thought I was obnoxious as hell, and I think that was the Judas Priest one. So I think that was my best.
Yeah, man. Well, you being on there is why I wanted you on here with me, because you're just freaking awesome.
Yeah. Well, am I better with you?
I don't. Well, they're better than me, so you're probably better with them. But we make a good team.
I'm better with everybody.
Yeah, you make everybody have a Coke and smile.
Everybody good. You can put me on, and I will rub you the right way.
I bet you would. Would you be panting at the same? Go.
No. We only do that in Northern California.
Oh. All right. Well, let's get to the next track, Sacred Wonder, which was your last track you picked on this album. So here's Sacred Wonder by Tony MacAlpine on the Freeform Rock Podcast. All right, why'd you pick this track, Sacred Wonder?
This has a great beat, and in a weird way makes me wonder what Little Dreamer by Van Halen would have sounded like if Tony MacAlpine had been the guitarist on Van Halen's first album.
What?
Yeah, this is as close as possible to finding out. It's a really cool song. Yeah, think about it. If Little Dreamer had Tony MacAlpine on guitar instead of Eddie Van Halen, wow.
I couldn't imagine that because Eddie's my favorite guitar player.
Yeah, but what I mean is this has a slow kind of a Little Dreamer vibe to it. That's what I'm trying to say. This can give you the idea.
Well, maybe they could jam together on Little Dreamer and it would just sound more awesome.
I think that Eddie should take a sidestep and let just for that song. You know, he's good. I saw him live, but you know, I think that they need Tony. You know, just to. I mean, Eddie's good, but I mean, David Lee Roth kind of needs someone to help him renew his creative juices. Alex is pretty good, but even Alex needs to have someone to perk him up just a little bit.
Well, they need Michael Anthony, duh.
Yeah, I mean, here's one thing that I do not think. A lot of people have been posting on Facebook saying they think Wolfie is a better bass player. I mean, he's good. He's in the pocket, and he's sometimes really, really right on with everything. But I saw Michael Anthony live when I saw Van Halen live, and he is really, really good. And if you listen to his bass work on Van Halen, he has that sound, which is the Van Halen sound. And people are only saying what they're saying because there was some sort of weird stuff that Michael Anthony didn't write anything on Van Halen, but actually he wrote his own bass notes. He was involved with everything that he did. And it's just weird that people are trying to say that he's not that good when he really is that good.
Yeah, I've seen him live. I've seen him with Chickenfoot, and I've seen him with Halen. I didn't see him with David Lee Roth. I saw him with, you know, the Scourge in the Room, Sammy Hagar, that everybody hates. But
good.
I've heard other musicians who played with Michael Anthony other than Sammy Hagar, and they said he is really, really good on the bass. Just not his backing vocals. He can play that bass. He's no slouch, but Eddie just wants to disparage him because he went out with Sammy. You know, I bet if Eddie said, "Hey, Michael, let's get back in the studio and let's go do something," he would have left Sammy like a fucking heartbeat. You know, because Van Halen was his first love, and he only went with Sammy because the fucking brothers weren't doing shit. He was bored.
Yeah.
So what the fuck? He was waiting for them and waiting and waiting and waiting. And like Tom Petty says, the waiting is the hardest part. So I'll go play with Sammy then. And then wait for you guys. But they got pissed off. He took Sammy's side and kicked him out. Fuckers.
Yeah. You know what I heard? I heard that I saw Eddie Van Halen point to a wall which had tons of tape. And he said there's songs and demos on all that. And none of it's released, and that's enough stuff for 200 albums at least. And he even did more than me, I'd say, which is not that you would know, but I used to do like 3 or 4 hours of music in one day, and it's like he's not releasing it. And I heard that when David Lee Roth first went in the studio, before they did Different Kind of Truth, they asked Eddie, "Did you do any new songs?" He went, "Yeah, we wrote and did about 30 new songs, but I don't think I'll release any of them." I'm like, what's your problem? You know, you've got all those songs. You can do like 3 different albums, and you're not doing it? So there's something weird about the difference between doing the music and getting out.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I just wish they would get a new album and let Wolfie do his solo stuff and bring Michael Anthony. Michael Anthony would come back in a heartbeat. No problem. Well, this is what I think about the song since we went into a Van Halen rant. This is a great song. I'm floored. It kicks ass and it's fucking genius.
Yeah, right on.
And then we get into the next track, which is a piano piece that he played, which is Frederick Chopin, Etude number 4, Opus number 10.
It's Chopin and it's Etude, but
Chopin. I suck. I don't know classical music. I can't say names.
It's no problem. The only reason why I did that was because I wanted to look like a snob just for a minute.
Oh, well, go have your freaking caviar, you know.
Right. But anyway, I
go
think
eat your fish eggs.
Yeah, he. But I think of this. It's like he's also great on piano. I dig it. Why not add a little classical piano? It gives the album a bit of class.
I was like, what? What is this? I go, he was like shred, and all of a sudden there's piano, and it's not what I expected, but I wouldn't like fast forward it. It was really good.
That's cool.
I liked it. So you got me into a little bit of classical music there.
Yeah.
And then we get into track 9, The Vision. What do you think of that?
I'm starting to get you. Anyway, this is kind of like the group Chastain, but not quite as plundering. This is my honorable mention for what could have been my track pick. It's awesome.
Yeah, I said Back to the Shred, love it. It's Fast and Furious, not the movies, and it's shred-tastic.
Yep.
Fucking great track. And then we get into track 10, Dream State. What do you think of this one?
Oh, this sounds kind of like Europe, but when Europe is really good. I would love to hear Tony MacAlpine on an album with a cool vocalist. I'm sure it would be great. This is better than a lot of stuff that came out during this time.
Yeah, I was saying this is from the 80s. I thought it would be from the 90s because it sounds ahead of its time. Really good. And I said melodic jam guitar harmonies are so good.
Yeah. The one bummer thing is that so far we haven't had anything bad to say about it. And I usually like to have a little conflict, so this annoys me.
Well, I'm sorry. I'll tell you the next song sucks then, just to say it sucks.
Actually, wait until you hear what I say. But
all right.
No, it's all good. It's all good. We can still be honest. I don't mind. I don't mind honesty as long as it's just in order to please people. If we need to annoy people, then we might as well lie. I'm kidding. Hey, that was. Go on.
Okay, then we get to the last track on the album, Porcelain Doll. What'd you think of this one?
Yeah, if I had to pick a filler song, this would be it. This is more like a military piece that a soldier would fire a 21-gun salute to during a celebration of some old heroic war event. It's not a really bad song, though. It does sort of tell the listener, okay, we're winding down now. You might as well remember to take your jacket when you leave. Thank you and goodbye. So in that context, it works.
Yeah, I hate this song, Lee. It fucking sucks. No, I just said it's a good track. Cool mellow to end the record, but I would have picked something else to end the record. You know?
Yeah.
It's a cool jam.
I won't skip it, you know, but I mean, yeah, it's maybe the most calm song on the album.
Yep, it is. It's pretty cool. Well, let's get on who played on this album besides Tony MacAlpine. Tony MacAlpine played guitar, keyboard, bass. Did you know George Lynch was on this album?
I did, and I kind of didn't always remember that. But yeah, I did know that he on it. But it was like a memory that didn't come back for a long time.
Well, he did the solos on tracks 3 and 9, which is pretty cool.
That's
and
cool.
then we had Jeff Watson from Night Angel did additional guitar solos on track 6.
Wow, that's really cool.
And you got Mike Manny, keyboard programming, and then Dean Castronova. You know him?
He's played in groups that I know of, but he's always played on the albums that I don't know of them.
Well, he's played in Journey, Bad English, and now he's with the Dead Daisies as their drummer.
Oh, well then, okay, I must have heard him in Dead Daisies.
And he has his own band called Revolution Saints with his Dead Daisy guitar player and Jack Blades of Night Ranger. And he sings lead on that. He was drums on 1, 3, 5, and 6. And
wow.
Atma Arner, drums on tracks 4, 7, 9, and 11. Steve Fortuno, engineering. Dean Alden, engineering assistant. Greg Horn, mastering. And Mike Varney, production. Mike Varney, that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was from Shrapnel Records, and he did some called like U.S. Metal. It was just he was based in Los Angeles, so most of the people I think who were on that compilation were like from L.A., but groups who may have had one song or two songs, and he picked a song each, and he did. It's like the K-Tel album of metal, but wasn't well-known people at the time. And it's possible that Steeler, the group with Yngwie Malmsteen, was on that, and a few other people, and they eventually got well-known, but there might have been a few people who weren't.
All right.
The guitar guy. In fact, I think he was who Paul Stanley went to when he needed a new guitarist, and Mike Varney mentioned Mark St. John.
Cool, because I've heard his name in like a lot of podcasts and just can't place him. And then, well, that's it for this album. Like I said, it charted at 146 and stayed on the 200 for 11 weeks. And this is a cool album, Lee. Thank you for bringing this to me. And since last night, I've been on a freaking Lynyrd Skynyrd kick because I saw a Showtime documentary on Lynyrd Skynyrd called If I Leave Here Tomorrow.
Huh.
Really cool. So next week, I want to do Lynyrd Skynyrd Street Survivor.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I won't say any more because we have to have people go to the episode to find out, but I'll listen to it again.
Yeah, no spoilers. It was their last album with Ronnie Van Zant because they died tragically in a plane crash.
Yeah.
Which is sad. So,
I won't spoil the album. They might spoil it, but I won't. Oh,
oops.
I know.
Well, I was going to do that one, or it's pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd, but I think we'll do this one.
I think it's better to do at least Street Survivors because I've heard that less.
Yeah, all right. And then right now we have our tracks of the week. You picked John Lennon Beef Jerky, which is an instrumental to go with this album.
Yep.
I did not pick an instrumental. I should have picked one when I heard this.
I actually only picked it just because I liked the song, and I was listening to Beatles and was on a Beatle.
That was funny. I was watching a John Lennon documentary on Reels when you put that out. That's funny.
That's cool.
And then I'm going to pick Alice in Chains from Black Fades into Blue, called Your Decision with No Lane Staley. This is with their newer lineup.
That's the lineup I like. You finally picked a song I like. Thank you.
Your Decision. This is my favorite of all-time Alice in Chains songs. Sorry, it might be sacrilege, but I like this song better than anything Lane Staley did, and I love Lane Staley. So,
hey, man, you're starting to make me feel good. Hey, man, sorry about everything I said about that thing that you said about that Dawkins album.
Oh, you don't like to rock with Dawkins? Rockin' with Dawkins?
Yeah, anyone that does that album open up and say, "Oh, it's bad."
That's Poison.
No, fuck, you made me remember that name. Okay. Oh, it's so good.
All right, well, let's get into the tracks of the week, and until next week, Lee, adieu.
All right, I do too.
I do too. And then here's John Lennon, Beef Jerky, and Alice in Chains, Your Decision. And until next week, take it sleazy, or take it easy, or whatever you're feezy.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye.
How to change has come and gone. Watched your fears become your God. It's your decision. It's your decision. Overwhelmed, you chose to run. Apathetic to the stunned. It's your decision. It's your decision. You feed the fire that burned us all when you lied. To feel the pain that spurs you on like inside. No one plans to take the path that brings you lower. And here you stand before us all and say it's over, it's over. It might seem an afterthought. Yes, it hurts to know you're bought. It's your decision. It's your decision. You feed the fire that burned us all when you lied. To feel the pain that spurs you on like inside. It's your decision. It's your decision. No one plans to take the path that brings you lower. And here you stand before us all and say it's over, it's over. It's over.
Now let's get into the promos.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
I wanna rock.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
You gotta fight for your right.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
We've got Bush.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
That's right, beggars. Cold beer, hot women, loud music, and copious amounts of hairspray and spandex. Every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern, the Big Bushy Power Hour is the biggest party on that metalstation.com.
Ear Peeler, the
the podcasting and interview news site. To keep up with your favorite bands or artists and the podcasts or interviews where they appear, go to earpeeler.com to find out what we're all about.
You haven't listened to Mars Attacks podcast? What are you waiting for, man? Host Victor M. Ruiz brings you all types of hard rock and metal-based podcasts. You'll find everything from music-based episodes, interviews, to series such as Ultra Sexy Classic Album Series, where some of your favorite musicians, producers, journalists, and show hosts comments on the albums that push the evolutionary chains of hard rock and metal. Get with it and go to MarsAttacksRadio.com to find out more. Punch it, get blasted!
From New York.
Hey, 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 hey! What up, bangers? From North Carolina,
Skitter Pal Meow Meow.
this is Bushy.
And the Mountain Man. Tune in every week for your listening pleasure only on The Plug with Bushy and the Mountain Man. You can find us on Podbean and iTunes.
Thank you very much.
Rock and rollers, if you want a podcast that kicks a lot of ass, make sure you check out the Terrence Reardon and Friends audiovisual podcast on YouTube. Every week, yours truly looks at a different classic rock or metal album that had a major impact on my life and also in the history of rock and roll in general. And I'm usually joined by a friend or two, and I cover everything from AC/DC and the Eagles to Pink Floyd, to Rush, to The Who, and everything in between. But there is no country music, no Tim McGraw, no Garth fucking Brooks, no rap, no Wu-Tang Clan, no fucking Jay-Z on the show, because that shit is frowned upon with this rock and roller. So if you want a kick-ass rock and roll podcast, check out the Terrence Reardon and Friends audiovisual podcast. New episodes up every Tuesday, exclusively on YouTube.
Hey, this is Lee Gerstmann, and if you like to hear some stuff that's like, you don't know what it's gonna be, and even if it's stuff that I don't even know what it's gonna be, check me out on what I call the Lee Gerstmann Show, and it's just me doing reviews or me doing horsing around or whatever I'm doing. Check it out, please.
You have just listened to the Freeform Rock Podcast. All music played on the Freeform Rock Podcast belongs to its owner. If you like it, go out and buy it. Get your music on Amazon, iTunes, or at your local record store. Support what you love. Support the artist by seeing them live. Purchase their music. The Freeform Rock Podcast is not affiliated with any of the artists or music that we play. Thank you for listening to the Freeform Rock Podcast. We'll see you on the next episode. Until next time, stay free and rock on.